troops that that's the case.
I want to ask you about an op-ed that you just wrote in the Washington Post. You've been up in the news a little bit recently. You wrote the op-ed after the reaction to a statement that you had made that you would have concerns about your daughter playing sports with transgender girls or women. And you talked about the backlash against that, and you said in this op-ed that you'd be getting calls actually of support from Democrats. Here's a quote. They were simply glad that a fellow Democrat would violate the moratorium on speaking our minds. Is the last part of that quote I want to ask you about. What is this moratorium on speaking your minds that you feel that Democrats have?
Well, we seem to have a set of liberal litmus tests, and if you don't meet those litmus tests, then you're not even allowed to share your opinion. I mean, this is the attitude that a lot of Americans feel the Democratic Party takes to the entire country. If you don't agree with us, then not only are you wrong, but you're a bad person, and these things are not up for debate. So I gave this example of transgender women in sports. It's just as one of many issues where we're not even allowed to have a debate. And many Americans are turned off by that. They say, why would I want to be a part of a party where my views aren't valid? They're not even up for discussion. The definition of a majority party is you actually encompass the majority views of Americans. And a lot of people feel the Democratic Party is out of touch right now. So if we want to start winning again, we've got to start embracing more ideas.
I was tempted to call this op-ed tough love, but it's more just tough. I mean, there's not a lot of love in it, frankly. You have another quote in there that says, this should have been an easy election for Democrats.
It should have been. And you'll hear every excuse in the book right now in Washington. There's a lot of denial in the Democratic Party. Oh, incumbents across the globe were losing, or we didn't do as badly as the president in the House, for example. I mean, every excuse in the book. And the reality is we've got to look ourselves in the mirror and say, we lost. We lost across the board. And we got to make some changes if we want to start winning again.
Do you think Trump is right about stuff? Is that what you're saying here?
What I'm saying is that Trump, despite his sort of twisted morals and unconscionable beliefs in many cases, is able to tap into Americans' real fears and concerns. He's able to give voice to them. And when we deny those fears, for example, when we just said, oh, there's no problem at the border, or don't worry about inflation, it's going to go away, when we just deny those fears, then people are not going to trust us. We need to be trusted as honest brokers. And that means you're willing to have a debate about some of these issues, not just shut people down if they disagree with your point of view.
As I said, some of these comments have caused a bit of the stir around the country and in the Commonwealth. Are you worried about being primaried?
I probably will be primaried. And that's great. That just proves my point, is that you can't speak a sentence that's out of line and not get backlash from the left. But that's okay. This is a democracy. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to give voice to the concerns that I hear from the constituents that I represent. And I'm going to keep doing that.
Last question. I haven't had a chance to ask you this yet, but President Biden had promised that he would not pardon his son, Hunter. He did pardon his son, Hunter. How do you feel about that?
I understand his instinct as a dad. I do. But when you're the commander-in-chief, there's something higher at stake, which is the Department of Justice, the system of justice that we have in America. And the reality is that Trump is already trying to abuse this system of justice. He's already trying to use the Justice Department for his own political ends. And I fear this is just going to give him another excuse.
Congressman Seth Moulton from the Commonwealth, thanks so much for being with us. I appreciate it.
Good to see you, John.
Kate?
Coming up for us this morning, the woman who snuck through multiple layers of airport security to stow away on a flight to France, she's going to be